Hello there, Lunar Squadron. Welcome back to the channel. Now, it's no secret to anybody that the stove has been rather cold when it comes to news about LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and really news about Star Wars in general. However, just a day ago, an article was released by Game Rant discussing potential loading issues with LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now, before we get into this conversation, if you are new to the channel, we would love to have you as always, and the way to do that is just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. It will notify you every single time that Andreas and I upload. Also, we have a brand new, or rather new, Discord server. We would love to see you there. It's a great way to interact with the community and interact with Andreas and I on a pretty daily basis, I would say. Also, stay up to date with all things Lunar Squadron by following us on social media at Lunar Squadron on both Twitter and Instagram. Don't miss out on that. Now, let's go ahead and jump into our discussion and talk about, does LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga have a loading issue?
So just like Nick just said, this whole conversation is going to revolve around this Game Rant article. We're going to go ahead and link that article down below in the description so that you guys can all do the reading and then, get up to speed on this and have this conversation with us maybe after. If you are too lazy to do the reading, then I'm just going to sum it all up for you right here. So this is basically the logical flow of what Game Rant, or specifically Stan Hodgeweg, I'm probably pronouncing that all sorts of wrong. Stan Hodgeweg, I'm going to do a few pronunciations so I cover my bases. This is basically what he is saying, is TT Games is incredibly ambitious with this game, so they are making a large universe. And as we've seen with the trailer that released, that large universe requires fast travel to get around. And if there's fast travel to get around, that means that this game has to solve a loading screen problem, because we're getting this game on the old gen and on the new gen. And when I say old gen, I'm also lumping in the Nintendo Switch, basically dated hardware. And those fast travel demands are going to be excessively demanding on the past generation, which is going to be an issue for TT Games. So what are they going to do about it? That is the whole premise of this article. It kind of looks like it's a breakthrough by looking at the title, but it really isn't, is it, Nick?
I just don't understand the point of this article. From the headline, where the headline is Star Wars The Skywalker Saga may live or die by its loading times. No, it won't. That's not what's going to kill or make this game. It's not even close to what's going to make or break this game. And I don't get the point of this article, because you could say this about literally any single game that is coming to the previous generation, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch. This isn't some new issue that's going to be mutually exclusive to LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So I really don't understand why we're singling out this game at this point. I get, like we said, that, the news is not flowing very much these days, but this just seems like a bunch of nonsense, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at that title, Star Wars may live or die by its loading times, it's not even a strong statement. It's just Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga may live or die by its loading times. You may. It's not even. I at least take a stance. Will it or will it not? I mean, at least Nick just took a stance on it. He doesn't think it will. This article is saying may. I mean, it could be anything, guys. I don't know. This is kind of a point that we've made on the channel before. The whole cross-gen issue is going to be challenging for this game, but that's not unique to LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. That's every single cross-gen game is going to have an issue with, does it sandbag the next gen to help the previous gen consoles play the game, or does it push the previous generation consoles to play a game that's tailored for next gen, and then those previous gen console versions are going to struggle? That's kind of a thing that's common to any cross-generation game that we've seen. It's a balancing act.
Yeah, I kind of want to just talk about a few points that he makes in this article. The first one where he talks about how the next generation will not struggle with these issues at all. These issues I put in air quotes because we don't even know if there are issues at all.
This article kind of came up and manufactured the issue.
Yeah,
like,
it kind of it's
no
like
issue.
there's multiple times where he says that like TT Games has to have an answer to this issue, but like there's nothing to indicate that this is an issue right now. And the only evidence that he has is based off of the gameplay trailer that dropped at Gamescom. But like that is obviously a heavily edited trailer that doesn't really give us what the final product, it doesn't represent the final product, so we have no idea if there are loading screens, which I'm sure there are given the fast travel mechanic, but we don't know what they are, what they look like, how long they are. We don't know how well they're being executed. There's just a lot of stuff we don't know. So I just don't understand the point of this article. He mentions that this is going to be a non-issue on the next generation, which of course it's going to be. The solid states within the next generation and also the capabilities of PC nowadays on a majority of, maybe not a majority, but on a large percentage of where this game will be played and where this game will be played in the future, this is not even going to be an issue if there is one. So there is just a lot of stuff going on in this article that I don't understand, and it's like a multiple paragraph thing that I feel like you could just have a one sentence like, this is a non-issue, but we couldn't think of anything else to write about this week, so we wrote this article.
Yeah, and there's a whole section in this article that is, what do they call it? More Skywalker Saga information is crucial. This is the, how do I write a paragraph... This author thought, how do I write a paragraph that literally a cantaloupe would agree with me? Anybody in the world would agree with me on this point. He basically makes the point that we need more information on Skywalker Saga. Congratulations. I'm glad that you figured. Yeah, I'm glad that you figured that one out. That is a revolutionary statement. Yeah, you were about 9 months late on that. Yes, we need more information. I don't know. I guess kind of the long and short of this one, guys, is be careful with the headlines that you are seeing and the articles that you are reading, because a lot of these articles actually turn fearmongers into our comment section, into our videos. People that will come in and say, guys, there is a massive loading screen issue in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Burn your consoles. Run into a GameStop and start throwing down the displays. It's just panic time. There's no need to do that yet. You don't have to do that because, like Nick said, this is a non-issue as of now. Now, it still is fruit for an interesting discussion, I suppose. How would we ideally want TT Games to handle this issue of cross-generation, I guess, in a broader sense, not just targeting loading screens, but also draw distance, graphics, frame rate, across the aisle? How do you think, Nick, ideally, TT Games should handle this situation? Because clearly, this game running on PS5 is going to be a lot different than this game running on Nintendo Switch, because, may I state the obvious, they are not comparable hardware. So how, on the software development end, do you think they can strike that balance the best?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think this is another thing where I'm going to take a different philosophical approach to this answer than our author here, where he was like, they have to have an answer. Like, they have to have like a solidified answer. I don't think that's fair. It really is on a game-by-game basis, based off of the architecture of how this game is made. So how I want TT Games to answer this issue, again in quotation marks, is the most efficient way they possibly can to make this game run as smooth as possible in the way that they need it to run. I don't think there is a right answer. It just needs to work, and it needs to work within their systems. Like, it just, because we have not had a hands-on experience with Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. We have no idea how this game is built, how it runs. So the only people who know the answer to this is them. The only people who know best are the developers. So whatever they think is best, then that's the right answer.
Yeah, I think that kind of hits the nail on the head. The different devs are going to face different challenges, especially when some devs are just making more ambitious titles. We kind of see a lot in this time in gaming right now, not so much now in the next few months, but maybe in the past few months, that these titles that launch during the the sunrise of a new console generation, that they are kind of less ambitious titles. It's like that overlap period, between PS4 and PS5, where you kind of take a look at the next-gen games and you think for a second, are these really next-gen games? Those companies don't really have to make those big decisions of what do I have to compromise on the past generation to benefit in the new generation. Those companies don't really struggle with those issues. Then you have companies like, we mentioned them a lot on this channel, CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk. They are the example of how not to balance cross-gen, right, Nick?
They're the example of how not to do literally anything when it comes to a video game. Like, literally nothing. Nothing. Don't do anything like CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk. I think the last two things that I kind of want to mention before I'm kind of had my piece is, one, I think our official stance on this is there is no loading issue with Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga because there is no known issue at the moment. If there is an issue that legitimately arises, then we can talk about that. But I think right now we are comfortable with saying, no, there is no issue with this because there is no reason for us to believe right now that there is an issue. There's no reason to believe that TT Games needs to have a solution. The last thing I want to say is kind of going back to the previous point I had just made with how I want them to solve things. I do want to add that this might get me into some hot water, but it is the time is coming very soon where developers need to start looking towards just this next generation and developing exclusively for this generation. So I guess personally, I would want TT to focus on making sure that the next generation is the best it possibly could be. Like, that's obviously a personal opinion. That is just, I think that's what moves the needle further for game development. And, the PS5 is the fastest selling PlayStation console, I think, of all time up to this point. It's outsold the PS4 at this point in their release windows, which obviously I know a lot of people have the whole scammer and all of that issue, so there's a lot of
chip shortage.
Yeah, there's some the data is a little skewed, I'll admit. However, the time is coming where developers are going to need to shift their focus towards this next generation. It's just the way the business works. It's the same thing that happened. You don't see PS3 games made anymore. Like, there comes a point in time where they need to start shifting their focus, and this console has been out for almost a year now.
That said, I guess I want to maybe represent the flip side of the coin here. This game was announced at a time where this next generation was not in consumers' hands.
Correct.
This game, in particular, was announced, obviously, it feels like forever ago, but it was announced in the full swing of the PS4, the full swing of the Xbox One, the full swing of the Nintendo Switch, right? So I'm going to be very critical with TT Games here. If they miss the mark, and if this game looks like the way it did on those consoles, save for the Nintendo Switch, obviously, how Cyberpunk looked on those consoles where it was basically not working.
Basically, it wasn't working.
Like, I honestly have little to no slackline for TT Games with this long of a development cycle
absolutely.
on those platforms.
This
because
many
you are
delays.
you're charging people full price for those versions of the game. Also, transparency. I think those people who are buying this game on PS4 and Switch, Nick and I are going to be included in there because we're probably going to buy this game on Switch. I'm definitely going to buy this game on Switch in addition to the PS5 version. if there is no working gameplay demo of this game, which TT Games by this point has shown a history of obscuring how its gameplay actually runs on this game. There's no two ways about it. They have not shown much gameplay on this game. So I need to see how this game is running on all of those consoles. I need transparency here because there has been none of that so far. So I guess if anything to take away from this discussion, TT Games, please have gameplay demos out for people so they can see how this game runs before they actually drop $60 on it. And it is a framey, long load screen time mess.
Yeah, I think you're right. And just get us back on track and finish up here. No, once again, no. There is no loading time issue with LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga at the moment. That is not to say that that is not something that could come up tomorrow or next week. But as of the filming of this video, there is no known issue. So there is no reason to make an issue out of it. Because there is no issue. It's a non-issue. So articles like this just simply don't make sense to Andreas and I. So we just wanted to kind of get our words out there, just in case people are worried or wondering about this non-issue. So hopefully, if you were worried about this, we have helped you not worry about it, because we honestly don't think you should. But I think that is going to do it for us. Once again, if you are new to the channel, we would love to have you as always. The way to do that is just go down below this video, hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. It will notify you every single time that Andreas and I upload. Don't forget to join our Discord server, and do not forget to follow us on social media at Lunar Squadron on both Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Lunar Squadron on social media. That's going to do it for us. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all